in his fight versus Donald Cerrone, Cowboy, at UFC 246 is real simple. It was a masterful use of the 48 laws of power. Now, if you know the laws, you know law number two is never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use your enemies. Another rule is to, keep your distance and build value in yourself, because when something is circulated in the market too much, it loses value. Also, um, another rule is to, change who you are or become something new, right? Renew yourself. And I'll expound on those three, and there were more, but the first one, if you look at the old press conference before Connor fought, I think it was Aldo or Alvarez, him and Cowboy Cerrone kind of got into it. And they had, from there was bad blood. But if you look at the press conference for 246, you'll see that they were kind of chummy and buddy, and how Connor kind of was getting Cowboy to like be friends with them. There was even a point where somebody was asking Connor about legal issues, and Cowboy, along with Dana White, stepped in, was like, "Yo, come on, man, stop that, leave the guy alone about those issues." He got his enemy to defend him, right? You also want to look at how Connor must have studied Cowboy, because one of the reporters said that Cerrone likes to have a aura of respect between him and the guy that he fights, versus how Connor is usually very abrasive and, I'd say not immature, but, he taunts his victims, so to speak, before he goes and fights them. He gets them in their emotions, but he must have studied Cowboy to know, hey, he likes this type of atmosphere, so let me pull him into that and kind of play to how Cowboy likes things and make him feel like he's in control, which is another law of power, right? Act as others, behave as others, but think like yourself, right? You see Connor, the other law of power is to play distance. I think it's law number 26, where he used absence to create mystery. Well, he was gone from the league about 2 years, 3 years, working on his business endeavors, and, getting into some trouble and getting himself out of it. So him now coming back is like, okay, he's back, is fresh, and then he recreated himself with his new attitude, not, all these shenanigans, so to speak. But I knew that Connor still harbored the same feelings, because when they had their final stare down and how Connor approached Cerrone, hands up in his face, trying to read him, looking him up and down, I knew it was on. And I knew he had Cerrone beat, because Cerrone felt too comfortable. Not only that, he just had his baby, that Cerrone, that is, he just had his son, what's his name? Danger. He just had his son Danger. So he's in family mode. He's fighting, trying to get some extra money, whatever the case was. Connor used that to his advantage, and then you see how vicious Connor was in the actual fight, and TKO'd him in 40 seconds. So if you think that Connor wasn't being very divisive, it wasn't very well thought out and planned. Even in one of his posts on Instagram, he said, "First one to shoot for a takedown is a cow bitch," right? He was baiting Cerrone into his game plan, and then baiting him with the camaraderie that they had as opponents. He made sure that Cerrone played into that whole theme, and of course, it got Connor a TKO, a win, a good ushering back into the fight game, if you will, for him to now take on the other people who are lined up that want to fight Connor, and we'll probably see a good show from Connor from here for the next year or two as he tries to take over the 170-pound division. So that's my take. I love combat sports. I'm a big fan of boxing and MMA. I got a little insight myself, train a little bit myself. So that's one of the things I'm passionate about. other than finance and money in the community. So leave your comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think it makes sense. And look, tag Connor, tag Cowboy, tag Dana White, uh, tag the UFC to see if we get a response and on how this goes, right, on this video here. So y'all have a good day. That's my take on it. Ciao.